Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Summer School. Today is going to be a brief, shorter episode because I'm on baby duty. So if Georgia cries, I got a blast. So if you see any weird lags in video, or maybe you hear something strange in the audio, that might be me leaving, but we're going to hope and pray that she stays asleep. So she's currently sleeping, so we're going to try and knock this out. But I just wanted to chat a little bit about what we could all be doing in the off season because I think a lot of us really delay our, or just delay tackling tasks. I almost said back end, but literally lots of tasks. I'm talking website, Instagram. There's so many things that we procrastinate on, our email list, and so I want to talk about things that we could do in the off season to jumpstart our 2025. I literally can't believe it's 2025. That's crazy, but I got this idea because I was mentoring someone and I was looking at her website and we were talking about updating her landing page images because they looked a little dated compared to her new style. And then I clicked on my website and realized my landing page images aren't even swiping. They're supposed to swipe through like 8 images. They're all loaded in there. They aren't even working. So this is your sign. Learn from me. Check your website. Make sure everything's functioning. And we got to keep them up to date. I think that's been my biggest flaw ever in my business is just forgetting to like update the photos of my site, and my style is always, changing. So keeping those up to date with where I'm living, where I'm shooting now, maybe the look of my images, all the things. So we're going to talk through everything about maybe what can we be doing this off season to better our 2025 and better our business. The first thing I'm going to hit on bettering our business and things to prioritize in the off season is refreshing our portfolio. I think one thing for me is I'm so excited. I want to get creative again. I want to do free shoots. We don't have to think of them like a monetary value. I just want to do shoots for the sake of creating. That's what I want to do. I want to have fun. I want to get out there. I want to collaborate with people. And I think last year, I don't know if I did it once. And if you've listened to this podcast, you know that I used to do quarterly shoots, self-portrait shoots of myself. I would do, once every couple months just to get creative and get explorative and push myself. And then I used to shoot just for the sake of shooting, for fun, for free, with friends, whatever that looks like. I used to do it all the time. And oftentimes that's some of people's favorite work of mine because truly you have so much control. When you are doing things, that aren't for a client, you have all the control. You can do whatever you want. It has nothing to do with what someone else wants. And so you can really just express yourself. And I think you can create the work you want to book. And when it comes to business and booking, people are going to book you for what they see. So if you don't have, the kind of stuff that you want to be shooting, you're not going to be shooting the things you want to be shooting. So we're going to refresh that portfolio, whether it's to get more business or just to get more creative. I think this is the year we all need to be pushing ourselves when it comes to our photos. I know I am for sure. I think last year I got stuck in the grind of the business and the hustle, and I forgot to create near as much as I wanted to. And so that's something I'm really prioritizing this year. And I think you all should prioritize in the off season as well. Go get creative with your free time. I definitely think you won't regret it. Outside of that, like I already said, we're going to do our website. I want you guys to all go look at your website and really look at it. I want you to think, what can I update? What can I change? Should I downsize some images so that the web page loads faster? What do I need to do? And spend if you are someone that thinks your website's perfect, fine. Spend at least a day still looking at it. Look at your copy. Is it outdated? Have you moved? Has something changed about who you are? Check your about page, check your portfolio. For most people, their website is not up to date. For most of us, we just shot a big wedding season in 2024 and we have not put those wedding photos on our site yet. I know I haven't. So go update your website. That would be our next thing we're going to do, and maybe do a branding overhaul. While we're talking website, maybe in the off season, you kind of rebrand yourself. I feel like when we're busy, there's absolutely no time for that. There is no time to be rebranding, choosing new fonts, choosing new styles, choosing new about me photos, getting new about me photos, all those things. But in the off season, this is a perfect time to prioritize getting some fresh photos of yourself done, maybe switching up your brand image, your colors, whatever you might want to do. This is such a good time to do that while you have free time. And I hope for everyone listening to this episode, it is your off season, or it is maybe your slower season. It's winter right now. So for most of us, it's a little bit slower. I know for me, it picks up swinging in March, but I know for a lot of people, this is kind of their time that they have time to do these things. So definitely now's a good time to work on websites for the educational business. In case any of you want to know, this is a little secret. We are hoping to launch something really big coming either March or May. I cannot decide which month to launch it, but I have to build a whole website. So if I can build a whole website, you can rebrand yours. Also stay tuned. It's going to be so good. I cannot wait for this launch. This will be like probably the best and biggest launch of our career. So for any podcast listener, you have the inside scoop. I think only 3 people in my life even know what I'm doing. If you're one of those 3 people, you're lucky. But for the podcast listeners, I mean, y'all know more than anyone else. Outside of the 3 people that know what we're actually doing, you guys all know that something's coming, and that's more than most. So outside of that, stay tuned. Mark your calendars. So around March, just keep looking at Summer School and at, my Instagram. But outside of that, let's maybe plan. I mean, we kind of touched on this already during building your portfolio up more, but maybe you plan personal projects or style shoots. Maybe they don't even have a ton to do with like business or like making money off these shoots. Maybe you just do them for the sake of doing them. Maybe you do them for the sake of working together and collaborating with local vendors, creating fun concepts with your friends. Let's think maybe some of our building our portfolio, when we were talking about that, was for the sake of business, and maybe this is just for the sake of getting creative. I want you to think about both of those and maybe prioritize at least one of them. In 2025, another thing I think we should definitely tackle is like admin task. If you're someone who said that they're going to build email templates for your business for like 3 years and you haven't implemented it, or you haven't put them in your client managing system, or you haven't, kind of automated your PickTime. If you're a PickTime user, PickTime has amazing automation and like ways to curate your PickTime to make your life so much easier. If you're someone that has a very unorganized, pipeline, and you want to organize that, maybe you want to start an email list, all of these things, wonderful admin tasks that you need to do. So I want you to get on those, whatever that might be. Maybe it's even like really refining your contracts. Maybe it's streamlining your invoices and the way that you communicate. We have email templates and they've been sitting in honestly a Word doc for years, and we should put them in HoneyBook so that Jake can just click to them. So yeah, even myself, that's something we need to do in this off season. Maybe it's checking your bookkeeping or organizing your receipts, reconciling your expenses so tax time won't be a headache, because that is coming up. I know for us personally, we don't do that because we have a bookkeeper, but for a lot of you listening, you're probably handling your own books. We have our own bookkeeper and accountant because I cannot handle messing with those things. They stress me out too much. So, but if you're not like me and you do your own books, which is a lot of small business owners, get on that. Start doing it now. Don't procrastinate until March. Start now. Yeah. And maybe outside of email templates and PickTime organization and organizing your client managing system, whether that's HoneyBook, Dubsado, whether it's Sprout, whatever system it is, maybe another thing you do inside of those systems, maybe you want to implement questionnaires in your business next year. Maybe you want to update your contact form to make it ask better questions. Maybe that's something you want to do this year. Go tackle those admin tasks, because how efficiently set up your businesses can really reduce the stress when busy season and bookings actually start coming, when bookings start piling up and you are working and running around like a little chicken with your head cut off. You will thank yourself that you took the time to actually set up these things. I think something else we could do in our off season in 2020 to prepare for 2025, in 2025 to prepare for 2025, same thing, is invest in education or building your skills further. So I think it's a wonderful time that if you feel like you want to work on something in your business, if you want me to chat with you, we can chat through your business. I've had I think a mentorship call almost every day for the past 2 weeks. It's been crazy, but it's been so fun to help so many different people from all over the world. I had people in other countries. It's been incredible. So if you want to talk with me, feel free, inquire, totally hit me up. I'm having mentorships right now, and I will slow them down to finish the launch that we're trying to launch by March or May. But I'm doing them right now and still accepting them. So if you want to, you can totally chat with me. But you could also maybe you want to get better at Flash. Maybe you take a Flash workshop. Maybe you want to get better at a certain shooting style or film, and you want to go to like your local film labs workshop, like investing in education, doing these kind of skill building type tasks in the off season is a wonderful time. I barely have the time to teach when I'm busy, when I'm shooting weddings. So for you guys, it would be really probably not the easiest to go to workshops, conferences, even virtual ones during your busy season. So I feel like now is the perfect time. I know personally there is a couple virtual ones coming in March. I know I'm going to an in-person conference. I'm going to WPPI in March, and pretty sure I'm hosting a workshop in LA in March. That'll be with another company, and it'll be chill, just like super cheap tickets, because we just really want to have like a really fun get together with a Q&A. So stay tuned for that. That's coming mid-March. That was not my big surprise that I've been talking about, but there's a lot of workshops, conferences, and things that are happening in the off season that you guys should go ahead and look into. Maybe you want to check out some courses on editing, lighting, posing, business marketing. Maybe you want to join a coaching program. I've had a lot of those. I don't know what we're doing for that now that we're launching our new thing, but there might be another coaching program coming soon. You have no idea. I have no idea. But yeah, maybe you want to experiment and maybe invest in watching YouTube videos on how to experiment with film and, different things like that. Totally, it is a perfect time, whether it's something you're paying for or that's happening for free, to at least invest in one educational experience in the off season to keep you both improving and staying inspired. I think nothing is worse than when people get like complacent and just like stagnant with their art and with their work, with their business, all of it, Maybe you want to take a class on business, on marketing, on SEO, whatever you want to take a class on. I think bettering ourselves is always so important. So definitely that is something I think you should prioritize in your off season. Another one I think you should prioritize would be networking or collaborating. The off season is such a good chance to build on your relationships and boost your business, because your relationships will take you so much further than anything like social media. Like real in-person relationships truly changed the world. So whether that's reaching out to fellow photographers, planners, makeup artists, venue owners, see maybe you could collaborate with one of the styled shoots you're going to plan or one of the free things. Maybe you're going to attend a local meetup or an industry event. Tonight, I'm attending a black tie networking event, and I don't even have a dress, and it's in like 4 hours. So don't be like me, but maybe you attend a networking event like me. Just maybe plan a little better. Pray for me that I find a dress. We shall see. We shall literally see. I have no idea. I'll update you next week if I found a dress. But nothing fits because postpartum bods are not the same as before. And honestly, when I networked last year, I rented for every occasion. So I don't even own a dress I could wear, even if it did fit. But yeah, maybe you're listening to this and you're someone that kind of teaches, or maybe you want to teach. Maybe you host a small workshop or a gathering for local photographers, aspiring photographers. Sharing your knowledge can position you really well in the industry. I know a lot of you listening or maybe mentoring with me do have interest in education. So maybe in the off season, this is your time to start experimenting with that with maybe your local market. Community over competition really can open so many doors. And I know we say that and it always sounds so corny and everyone's like, does anyone actually do it? Yes, there are people really seeking out community, and it truly, real community can change the life of your entire business. It can change your life. You just never know who you're going to meet. So yeah, support your community. Open your doors. Open your heart. Open your mind, expand your mind. Go be friends with people you don't even know if you would naturally normally hit it off with. Just get out there. You're not going to regret it. And if you do, it still probably would be worth it. I feel like every experience I've gone to, if it hasn't been great, I have learned something from it that I can implement in my own life. So just think of it in a positive light and get yourself to push yourself. And, maybe you're scared of networking because you're an introvert or you don't want to go alone. Push yourself. Trust me, it'll be worth it. The not last thing, I think it's like the second to last thing we're going to touch on, yes, is marketing. Maybe in your off season, it's a great time to try and put together a real marketing plan so that when you're busy, you have a plan, you have a strategy, you know what you're going to do, and you're not going to, just not do any marketing because you're overwhelmed and you have too much to edit. That is a common thing I always hear. Well, Summer, I have editing to do. And I'm like, well, you're not going to have any editing to do if you have no business, and you're not going to have any business if you don't market yourself. So we gotta keep up with both the marketing and the editing, even when you're busy. And I know in the off season, a lot of people are great. They're posting on Instagram, they're engaging with people, they're going to networking events, and then busy season hits and it's like they don't exist. So I don't want you to do that. So maybe in the off season, we create a marketing strategy. You plan out how you are going to market well, even when you're busy. Take advantage of this time, you guys. And then lastly, I think we should have some self-care and recharge. I don't want you to hear everything I just said that you should do, and now you're turning your off season into a busy season. You need to rest some. I think wedding season, if you are a wedding photographer, if you are any other kind of photographer or creative listening, maybe you're a wedding industry person and you're like, Summer, I barely have an off season, or I don't have one, or I'm in it in the summer. Okay, take this, listen to it again in the summer. But I think it's still important to take time for yourself. You've worked hard all season, and a little rest can go a very long way. So maybe you schedule yourself a little staycation. Maybe you dive into some non-work related hobbies. I think it's really important to like keep ourselves grounded in areas that maybe aren't our work. And I say this as someone who actually struggles a lot to do that. So this is a reminder to myself as well. I got into baking a lot when I was pregnant. I would still love to do that. I also got into hosting girls' nights, and we had girls' nights once a week for like months. So we're having that back in a couple weeks. We're going to have our first girls' night back since the baby was born. But yeah, dive into some non-work related hobbies. I have a ton of friends that like do pottery, maybe they paint. You know, think of ways that you can creatively push yourself that maybe isn't photography, because you can get inspired in so many ways when you think outside of your own world. And lastly, spend quality time with your loved ones. A refreshed mind and heart, that'll shine through your work better than anything else I have said. You know, if you are not rested and you are not your best self, you're not going to be your best self and your best artist on a wedding day or on whatever kind of shoot. I always say wedding day because I'm a wedding photographer. But, you know, if you're listening to this, you're not a wedding photographer, just change that word. Just sub the word wedding this whole podcast. Yeah, you don't want to be stressed. That is literally the reason that I don't even do double or triple header weddings, because I do not want someone to get me the day after I've just shot someone else's wedding for 10 hours, because I'm tired. You know, I'm honestly not my best artist. I'm not my best self. And so we only book one wedding a weekend, or if we do book, we have booked 2 last year once. And it was because they were both 1.5-day packages. So I had like a half day in between to kind of rest and recharge, and it was just a rehearsal dinner we were shooting. So yeah, even when it comes to my weddings and how we shoot on wedding days, like, and how we book things, I don't even book like back-to-back things, because I want to be my best rested self when it comes to shooting. So definitely during this season, like, spend time with your loved ones. One of my biggest regrets was spending too much time in the business. One of my biggest regrets in my life was spending too much time in my business. There was a place we lived once where when I left, I just didn't have that many people to say goodbye to. And it really hit home and really made me change and reevaluate my whole entire business and my art and everything, because that just wasn't the life I wanted to live. I'm someone who loves community, but I just got so wrapped up in like booking and overbooking myself. Do not overbook yourself, okay? Have boundaries, and spend time with the ones you love. So there you have it. Those are lots of ways to stay productive, creative, prepared during your off season. A lull in your schedule doesn't have to mean like a lull in your growth. If anything, it should probably mean like a spike in your growth. If we're being honest, you have so much time to post, to try and get new clients. You know, you have so much time right now. If anything, now should be the time that you're like taking off. So thank you for tuning in. If you found this episode helpful, definitely share it with a friend, share it with someone that you think needs to do and prioritize maybe their marketing in their off season, maybe getting creative. Just share it with anyone. Go ahead and leave a review, and I cannot wait to catch you next week with an amazing guest episode. So stay tuned. Bye, guys.